Hello, in this video, I will explain the Tableau dashboards. So I'll give you a brief introduction into the overall purpose, the planning process, as well as the settings of the Tableau dashboards. And then we're going to start looking at how to create one. So this set of slides, I thought I'd call it putting everything together in a dashboard. I'm going to talk about describing the purpose and planning a successful dashboard. Then the interactivity, adding an interactivity to the dashboard by adding highlights and filters. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough time to cover this, but let's get started. So the purpose of dashboards. So you kind of created a few views that communicate important information your manager needs to know about. And now you need a way to say, okay, I would like to investigate profitability from different perspectives. So I need to aid my story with multiple views, not only one view, but a couple of views. So in this case, you're going to use the dashboards. Now, dashboards are not supposed to be crowded. So if you needed more than 3 or maximum 4 views to explain your story, then there is something else in Tableau called story. So there is the worksheet or the view that we worked with throughout the semester. Now we're talking about dashboards, which is a combination of multiple views together. If you feel that your story requires more visualizations, and if you add them all into one dashboard that would look so crowded, then you may use what we call it a story. We're going to go into this in due course. So by combining your views into an interactive dashboard, what is interactivity? Interactivity is when you click on something and it does something. So if you click on a marker or a mark in the visualization, and it highlights only this kind of data throughout different visualizations. Like, for example, if you have a bar chart and you have a map, a filled map, as well as a line, a chart. So you would like to, and all of these charts have a common among them, the region. So if you highlight a certain mark on one of these views, for example, on the line chart, you have multiple lines, each line showing a certain region. So you clicked or selected a certain region. Interactivity could mean also highlighting this certain region, for example, central region, in all other views. So we're going to learn how to do this as well. So how do we select to see the data of a specific marker, for example, common among all views in the dashboard. So a dashboard, the definition of a dashboard is a collection of several views that letting you view data simultaneously to get richer insight. For example, if you have a set of views that you review every day, so as the KPIs, so you are running or you're managing a team of sales individuals and you would like to keep looking at their KPI or keep monitoring their performance, then you create a dashboard. So similar to worksheets, you can access and create a dashboard very easily here at the very bottom of your workbook. So over here, at the very beginning here, we used to use this icon to create a worksheet or a view. This one that looks like the Japanese rice field, right? You can use it, a kanji. You can use it for creating a dashboard. As you can see, it is maybe split into 4 different parts, meaning that you can put different views in there. And then when you have a story, this is a story, in fact. And this, you can add a story, which is like a book. It has multiple pages. So you can add multiple pages, and each page will have a dashboard. So a dashboard will have multiple views. A story can contain multiple dashboards. All right. What's the purpose of a dashboard? The purpose of a dashboard mainly is to monitor like a KPI. You want to take a look at the status of your of the progress of your team. So it's something that you look at every day. You want to explore. So you want to help your users or help the people that you serve answer certain questions or answer their own questions, and also inform. So for example, you want to understand the data quickly, you want to tell a story, you have a presentation and so on to explain a certain concept. So when you modify a sheet, any sheet in your workbook, any dashboard containing it will also change, and vice versa. So there is an interactivity within the same workbook. So you have a view. If you change anything in that view, this will reflect on the dashboard and vice versa. So this is because that the data in the sheets and the dashboards are connected. With a live connection, of course, both sheets and dashboards update automatically with the latest available data from the data source. But you need to refresh if you don't have the live connection. Then the data will be used. The latest data could be used. Now, the second topic that I would like to talk about is planning for a successful dashboard. So one of the projects that maybe would like to give to you guys is to give you a certain scenario, an activity, to give you a certain scenario and ask you to answer or to give a short presentation answering these questions. So each group, for example, or each person will have a certain style. They're going to start their process. The first thing that you need to know is probably planning. Planning is very important. So a well-designed dashboard can align your organization's efforts, help uncover key insights, and speed the decision-making. And this is a very important aspects that you need to look after or go over for planning your dashboard. First of all, you need to understand the who. Who's your audience? So your audience for your dashboard will influence both the content you include and how you present it. So get out of your desk, ask the person who's going to use the dashboard the questions. Who is in the meeting? I would like to know, because this might help me serve you better. So ask who's in the meeting. Understand who's your audience. Your intended audience will help you to determine which chart types to use, how you arrange the charts on the dashboard, and the level of detail you provide. And of course, the level of interaction you build in. We're going to talk about the level of interaction and the where in a bit. Second question for planning is what information. So as well as you ask the person who is in the meeting, ask also why are you holding up this meeting, and what kind of questions you're trying to answer and you would like to discuss. So when including data in this dashboard, consider what are the key takeaways as are for your audience. So make sure your dashboard is simple, clear, not crowded, but includes relevant information, just enough for them to answer the questions and lead them to the most important data, and provides them also with interactivity. You can see that interactivity is again being present in both themes or topics, that your users find their own answers and insights and so on. This is an example of a dashboard. Look how beautiful it is. So here there's the sales, the profit, the ratio, the profit per order, the sales per customer, the average discount, the quantity, and you have also here certain cards. These are filters, different filters. And then you have the monthly sales by segment for all states. We've learned how to create these lovely area charts, and don't worry, you can actually have multiple area charts by adding a level of detail on the rows. So if you add here, this is consumer, corporate, home office, you add this variable or dimension on, then you will be able to in fact create multiple area charts like this. Same applies here, furniture, office, and technology. So this is monthly sales by segment. This is monthly sales by product category. Okay, back to the planning. Why are you creating a dashboard? So you need to have a clear purpose and work for their intended audience. So it's also understanding who's the audience and why. Are you presenting a conclusion or a key question? Is it to inform your users? Is it to explore the data? Understand the purpose of the dashboard. This is very important. Where is the dashboard going to be viewed? Are your users going to view the dashboard on different size devices? Desktop, laptop, tablet, phone, or even printed out? If the dashboard will be used as a small device on a small device, consider the device's specific composition and content changes will be intended, meaning test on different devices and make maybe different versions of the dashboard. The more you customize the dashboard to the viewing device, the more you will enhance users' experience. Will users want to print a dashboard, for example, as a PDF and take to the meeting or look at it offline? So depending on the audience and purpose, consider which charts and elements or interactivity to be included, because interactivity will not show anymore on the printed version. So basically, let's take a summary. You need to plan on answering the why, the where, the who, and the what. Once this planning process is over, yeah, you will be a better Tableau author. Over here, this is a video like to watch together on the planning.
Is relevant to its intended audience and shows dashboard has a clear purpose, is relevant to its an effective dashboard has a clear purpose, is relevant to its intended audience, and shows users how to interact with its data. To create a great dashboard, you need to plan and develop it carefully and give it rigorous testing. To ensure your dashboard's success, follow these 4 key steps. Determine the dashboard's purpose and audience. Plan the dashboard thoroughly. As you build it, use design best practices. And finally, test it for usability and performance. Let's look at each of these in more detail. When you're planning a dashboard, make sure that you clearly understand its purpose, who its audience will be, and the questions this audience wants the dashboard to help them answer. In this dashboard, for an executive VP, the goal is to give a high-level view of the company's sales and profit totals over a broad time frame. To get a picture of business health, this audience wants to answer questions such as, what are overall customer sales by location? And also, broken down by product category and customer segment. And how do the data look when we filter by location? In another example, let's say our audience consists of product analysts, and they need more specific data. They want to evaluate profitability across the product catalog to decide which items to keep in the inventory. They need to drill pretty deeply into the data, asking which products had highest sales and most or least profit month by month. And for each product type, what are the specific sales details? If you have any uncertainty about the questions your dashboard needs to answer for your intended audience, determine that before you go further. Once you're certain about a dashboard's purpose and audience, make a plan for the dashboard's design. Your first consideration should be, how will the dashboard be viewed and shared? Will it be dynamic and interactive? Or will it be viewed in a static format, as a PDF file, for example? If the dashboard is shared on Tableau server, you'll have more flexibility for your views. You'll also have more sizing considerations. Will people view the dashboard on a mobile device, for example, or an iPad? The more you can customize the dashboard to the viewing device, the more you can enhance users' experience. If some will view it on tablets and others will use desktop monitors, consider creating custom versions for those devices so that information displays correctly. If the dashboard will be static for its users, design your views to work without interactivity. Next in your dashboard planning, decide on the chart types and data you want to use for the dashboard. Think of each chart's purpose and how you'll want to relate the views to each other. Then organize the views in a logical way and ask yourself whether they answer the questions this dashboard needs to answer. Is every view essential? Is every view relevant to your audience? As the last part of your planning, think about how you want users to interact with the dashboard. Do you need to create filters, actions, or parameters? How can you help people get at the data and answer their own questions? You've developed a solid plan for the dashboard. Now, as you put it together, apply the principles of good design.
This is very important.
Think of the design both in terms of the dashboard as a whole and the details of individual worksheets. Considering the dashboard level, don't overcrowd the dashboard. You can always build more dashboards and cover other aspects of the data in coherent subsections or even using story points. Streamline your use of legends and filters. For legends, remove those that aren't essential. For filters, where possible, have one filter act on multiple views. Better yet, use actions or parameters to reduce the number of filters. Place important controls, such as global filters, on the upper left, and arrange views logically, generally.
I'm sorry. So the upper left, in fact, she's going to talk a little bit on the importance probably. So the importance here would be left, right, top, down. So the most important information should be placed on top, left, top, down.
Following a left to right, top to bottom order. Evaluate color and font choices, top to bottom, and arrange views logically, generally following a left to right, top to bottom order. Evaluate color and font choices for clarity and consistency. Remember to use a limited number of colors and carry the meaning of key colors throughout the views, like using red to indicate negative numbers. Considering the worksheet level, review titles on views, filters, and legends for clarity and helpfulness.
Each one has.
Include instructions so people know at a glance how to interact with the views and what the data represent. Within a view, remove unneeded headers, labels, grid lines, and tick marks. And remember tooltips. Edit them for appearance, clarity, consistency, and helpfulness. These are some central things to pay attention to. Once you have a working version of your dashboard, test it for usability and performance. Start by applying the 5-second rule. In 5 seconds, could users tell the dashboard's purpose and get its relevance to them? Is it easy to use so that a person would be enticed to interact with it? Now try the 5-second rule on some targeted users of the dashboard. Observe them in a usability test. Does the data make sense to them? Can they find what they're looking for? Do they need more guidance in how to interact with the dashboard? Do they want data that isn't shown? Revise the dashboard based on their input. Last, check the dashboard's performance. Does it have an acceptable load time? When you interact with it, does it respond as you'd expect? We've covered 4 essential steps to creating a successful dashboard. Know the dashboard's purpose and audience, plan its design thoroughly, build it using design best practices,
and
and
test it.
test the result. Now you can build brilliant dashboards that users will love.
Okay, thank you so much. We hope so too. So let's carry on. Let's talk about adding views to the dashboard. So this is an example of a dashboard. And we create a dashboard in much the same way that we create a new workbook or worksheet. I showed you how to do that. It's like the, this icon at the very bottom of the workbook. And you can just create a new dashboard icon and update with the most recent data from the data source. When you are faced with the interface, will have dashboard and layout tabs or data panes. And then you will have the default here for the device being a phone. The default here. Then you have device preview, and you can also specify the size. So this is the minimum 1000 by 620 pixels. You can change that, and I will show you how to do this in a bit. Then you will have the list of sheets on this workbook. So you can just drag and drop. So to add views from any worksheet in the workbook, find the title of the worksheet you want to use in the sheets list here, and drag and drop it into the canvas. To replace one worksheet on a dashboard with another, just select the worksheet in the dashboard view. Then in the sheets list, you select it, and then in the sheets list, hover over the title of the worksheet you like to use instead, and click on the swap sheets icon. Do you see this icon? So you can just select the worksheet in the dashboard view, select it, and then in the sheets list, hover over the title of the sheet that you would like to use instead. So first of all, select this. You see that this is selected. Then drag, hover over performance. Do you see this little icon? To me right now, it looks like a phone handle, but it's a swipe. Sorry, swap sheets kind of icon. So you can use it. Once this little icon is present when you hover over, then you know that now you can swap the sheets. From the dashboard also, you can return to the worksheet in one of the following 3 ways. First of all, from the dashboard pane, click the go to sheet. So you want to go into the sheet. You can go here under sheets, and do you see this little icon here? This is you can click on it so you can go to the sheet. The second is down here. You can locate the sheet, of course, on the tabs. The third is over here. In fact, I've never used this one often, but this is a legend or a filter connected to a certain worksheet. So you can click to the Go Sheet button that appears in the Views toolbar after selecting the view in the dashboard. So this appears, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm really sorry. So these actually belong to the view. That's true. This is why I got confused, and I said I've never done this before. I thought that all these controls are actually belonging to the legends or the filters. In fact, yeah, I've never seen them in the legends or filters. These, as you can see on the side, let's take a look on the side here. You have go to sheet. It's the same as this one. Do you see that? It's like an arrow shooting out from the page, from the current dashboard. So it is the same. And you may go to the sheets list and go to sheet from there, or on the visualization here, you use it, or over here on the tab. But these guys, the legends and the filters, they don't have these controls. Then later we're going to use this, which looks like a funnel and it's like a filter for interactivity. We're going to talk about this in the next class. Yeah. By the way, I'm just recording this at 9:30 p.m. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit tired and a bit off. So after adding the sheets to the dashboard, you can customize these dashboards further for its appearance and usability. And we can do that maybe in the next lecture together. But for now, I would like us to watch this video on the dashboard's settings. Before we start creating a dashboard, let's just take a look at the different settings of a dashboard through the. Oh, this is a different video. All right. Yeah. Video. We're gonna. Let me just. Okay. Here. All right. Yeah, we can watch this together.
When you're ready to bring together views for your analysis or share them with others, build a dashboard. Here, we have a data set that describes oil well output, and these views can be combined into a dashboard. Let's take a look at an example of a completed dashboard first, and then we can see how to build it. Here, we have an example of a dashboard sheet. This is where you'll find the dashboard and the dashboard editing panes here on the left side. The dashboard contains the content we want to collectively analyze and share. The editing panes provide the tools for building and editing a dashboard. Now let's take a look at the editing panes. In the dashboard pane, you have the device preview button. This allows you to see what your dashboard would look like on certain devices. Click and unclick this button to open and close the preview. Under Size, click the drop-down menu to see the sizing options. Listed under Sheets are the sheet names of the views in this workbook that can be used to build your dashboard. Listed under Objects are containers, images, text, or web pages that can be added to a dashboard. Drag these items onto the dashboard, then complete any dialog boxes that pop up. Each object on a dashboard can use one of two types of layouts: tiled or floating. Tiled objects are arranged in a single-layer grid, and the objects snap into place as they're moved around the dashboard. Floating objects can be freely moved on the dashboard and layered on top of other objects. Clicking Show Dashboard Title will show or hide the dashboard title. Click the Layout tab to show the Layout panel. All of the items in the dashboard are listed here. You can see all the floating objects and any tiled objects listed in a hierarchy. The floating objects are listed here at the top of the list. Selecting any object on the list will highlight it in the view. You can incrementally adjust its position and size using these settings at the top. Unchecking floating reverts the object to tile. Clicking Show Title allows you to show or hide the object title. All the tiled objects are listed here in the tiled hierarchy. Click the drop-down arrow to open each hierarchy. You can see whether the objects are placed in vertical or horizontal containers. Select objects in the hierarchy to highlight them in the view. Containers are represented as blue frames. Sheets are framed in gray. Notice the tiled objects are fixed, so you can't change the position or size. However, you can always change them to floating by selecting the floating box above the object section.
Okay. That was fast. So now that we know more about floating objects and tiled objects, in fact, I have other slides also that have more details on tiled and floating objects. So I'm just gonna give this as an introduction, a quick introduction for now, but then we can go into details into what she just mentioned in the video. I have some very detailed slides coming up. So creating a dashboard. So after adding your sheets into the dashboard, you would like to customize it, improve it. So this is what we're going to do with the creating a dashboard. Creating a dashboard isn't that difficult. Yeah.
Hi guys. Dashboards are built. Let's start a new one.
Wait.
To open a new dashboard.
Wait. Okay, let's begin now. If I can just do that, then we can.
Now that you've seen where dashboards are built, let's start a new one. To open a new dashboard, click the New Dashboard tab located on the panel below the view. Let's rename this tab Oil Well Dashboard by clicking the tab to select the name and then typing the new name. It's a good idea to set the size of the dashboard before we start building, so we know how much space we have to work with. Under Size, click the drop-down menu to see the sizing options. You can set the size manually with the height and width menus, or select from one of the preset sizes in the drop-down. Notice the size of the dashboard automatically updates as you change sizes. Now let's select Desktop Browser. It's also a good idea to turn on the title first by clicking the Show Title box down at the bottom. This brings in the title we gave to the dashboard by default and creates a container for other text we might want to add to the title. Next, we can add views by dragging them to the dashboard. Each view brings in its own legend and any filters that were included in the view. When we bring in multiple views, you'll notice that Tableau uses a gray box to preview where the new view will be added. Usually, this excludes the right tile where the legends and filters will be added by default. But if we bring the view to the very top or the very bottom, we can get full width. When we find the ideal placement, just release the view to add it. Let's add the map at the top as the third view. After you add your views, you may want to change the sizes of the objects on the dashboard by dragging the double-headed arrow at each border.
Here's the legend and create.
All right, so she added the legends. And all the legends are added.
You can also rearrange the dashboard objects by clicking the object to see the gray frame and then dragging it to a new location. One important thing to note is that dashboards reflect the layout of the view. If you change the view on a worksheet, it will automatically update on the dashboard. Let's try this using the oil output bar chart and changing the view to shapes instead. You can quickly return to the original worksheet by clicking the Go to Sheet button located at the upper right corner of the view, or here next to its name on the list of sheets. Let's change the chart type from automatic to shape, and this will update the view. Now let's go back to the dashboard. You'll see that the output chart has been updated as well. Tableau is maintaining the connection to the data and the worksheet, which will continue to update as you make changes. Now, you should be familiar with the basics of the tools found on the dashboard and layout panes. So get out there and explore the features on your own and build beautiful dashboards.
Thank you.
Okay. Hide and unhide sheets. Of course, if you have a long list of sheets in your workbook, you might want to just focus on particular views. Maybe your audience told you that we would like to focus on these, so you can just unhide some of these views. So on the dashboard pane, under sheets, click the sheet and select hide, as you can see. To unhide the sheet, again, right-click on the sheet under, right-click the sheet under sheets in the left pane and turn off the hide option. So unhide is you right-click the sheet under sheets. But it's hidden. So if you hide the sheet, let's try this, okay? Here we go. Let's start with this one, for example. Let's do it together. Okay, so yeah. All right, so let's say that I want to hide this sheet. So I can just hide it. Maybe because it is used. Let's see, here's the department. This is sales overtime, sales by postal. Okay, so let's hide this one so it's not used. Do you see that? So these sheets are used, right? So since they are used, there is like a tick mark on them. If you hide the sheet, what happens really? This is filled map. Filled map still there. It's hidden. You see the sheet itself is hidden. So all the sheets are hidden. In fact, I have seen some professional authors, when they do dashboards, won't see any of the sheets, in fact. They would hide all the sheets. So now in fact, I'm sorry, I'm doing this spontaneously, this video spontaneously. In fact, I've never experimented with hiding sheets. So that's quite interesting that this is how they do it. They actually hide the sheets. And this is, if you hide all the sheets, for example, look what I'm talking about. You hide all of them. Yeah, hide, everything is hidden. As you can see, sales by postal code also hidden. I want to hide it, but this in particular, you can't hide because it's not used. This is quite interesting, isn't it, guys? All the sheets that are used in the dashboard could be hidden. And then that's it, they're all hidden. They're already used. This one on the other hand, it is not used by any dashboard. Is it used by this dashboard? Yes, it's used by this dashboard. So I can hide it from here, you see, and now it's hidden. So this is a little something, you know, with hiding dashboard. So I'm not sure if they're going to give us some questions like that also. So yeah, these are quite interesting when you're doing the certification. So hiding sheets will only work when the sheet is actually used in the dashboard. The sheet is not used in that dashboard, you can't really unhide it. So you see, I can't hide or unhide, but it's used here. So I could hide and unhide it, yeah. And this one, for example, I can unhide it from this dashboard because it's used on this dashboard. That's quite interesting, in fact. Okay. I like to just reorder them all like that. Good. All right, very nice piece of information. So let's continue. You can also hide sheets by right-click the tabs. Yeah. If you want to hide all sheets, just right-click the dashboard tab and click hide all sheets. That's quite interesting. To make them visible again, right-click and select unhide all sheets. So this is actually one of the practices I've noticed. Like one time I opened up like a workbook that I was working with. It's not my creation. And I just noticed that there were no worksheets. And sometimes when you want to share it online, this is especially in particular when you want to share it online. When you're sharing it online, it's best to practice to hide the sheets and you just keep the dashboard. So here you right-click on the dashboard and hide all sheets. So it will hide all sheets on that dashboard. You see the filled map? Filled map is not used here. This is not a filled map. So it will also hide all the sheets used on this dashboard. Unhide all sheets, they're all visible again. It's possible to reorder the floating objects. Floating objects are those objects that can be overlaid on others on the dashboard. The item hierarchy area on the layout pane shows the relationships between the objects on your dashboard, as you can see here. Order year, order quarter, so there's filters, there's tiled, and this is horizontal, this is styled, okay. So you can drag the floating item in the hierarchy to change how they layer over each other. So use the hierarchy, they're telling us. You can evenly distribute the layout containers items. How do we do that? With the layout container here, the layout container on the canvas, you just choose distribute contents evenly. This is with the layout container selected. Okay, let's see. Here's the layout container. This is not the layout container, right? This is a layout container. And then where is it? This is a layout container. Remove container, deselect, remove from dashboard, rename dashboard items. Remove container. Wait a minute, maybe it's this one. This is floating, select tile, deselect, remove, rename. I need to investigate this further before giving the lecture tomorrow. So distribute contents evenly. Let's check. Take a look. Maybe our hours are already distributed evenly because I don't have a floating. Because drag and turn to the view, drag the sheet. Maybe this is for floating objects only. You see? Extra tip, find the container easily. Select container horizontal. Sokka, I need to find the container. That was my problem. That's quite interesting. So first I need to select the container. This is tiled. Okay, so now I'm selecting the container. Yeah, now select container vertical. Yeah, it doesn't have distribute the items evenly. You know why? Because I think all of them are already selected nicely here. So let's see. I don't have it distribute here, contents evenly. Wow, it actually destroyed my my dashboard. So now we can see how we can distribute containers evenly. Here we select the container and then 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 it's still, so deselect and select. I think it works with here, distribute contents evenly. Okay, so now we know, just in case. Highlight the filter data in dashboards. This is very important, interesting topic. So you need to add interactivity by highlighting certain marks, highlighting certain data and filter in the data dashboard or in the dashboards. We have legend highlighting and we have filtering. With legend highlighting, legend is that little card on the side usually for color and so on. You can use highlights to call attention to marks of interest and enable users to explore your dashboard further. For example, you can manually select the marks, of course, on the individualization. And once you select any mark in a viz on the dashboard, you can highlight that legend. So for example, I'm going to select this, and now this is highlighted here in the technology department. And apparently this is also highlighted, but this is technology for the East. This highlighted the East region. This is not very, actually, this is one of the troubleshooting kind of like dashboards, because this dashboard, guys, as you can see, even the order of the charts isn't very well thought of. Over here, let's check. Now here, there is some interactivity. You can see over here, I have a central, west, south region. So I can select the south region here. I can focus on it. And this is what we mean by interactivity, that this is all the south region data now filtered out. Yeah. So double click again and you have all the data. Filtering, your filters allow the user to visually isolate subsets of data, and filters can be applied to individual worksheets and dashboard or to all sheets in a dashboard. So there are global filters and there are just sheet related or specific filters. So for example, in a view showing the sales price of houses, when you select a particular house, a filter can show details of the house in a different view. Let's take a look here. I don't have any filters. So let me take a look here. Do I have any filters here? Also no filters here. Yeah, but here there's a filter for central. So you can see that it's not even a filter, it's a legend. So even on the legend, I was able to highlight only the west area, but over here it's not responsive. So that's real bad. I even have an unknown. So I need to edit locations. This is unrecognized. Okay. Okay, it's not a big deal. Let's see how we add highlights and filters in a dashboard, so we can see how we can add these highlights that interact with each other. And we can do this, remake it again together, or reproduce it together. But for now, let's watch this very interesting video on how to add highlights and filters in a dashboard. Okay, maybe the computer is also tired. Come on. Gambate. Okay, finally, thanks.
Dashboard.
We have a dashboard that looks all right,
but in just a few steps, we can add interactivity that would help people highlight or drill down on the data they need to see. Legend highlights help the data to stand out from other marks. You can activate this feature from a legend. For example, on the reservoir name legend, we can select Highlight Selected Items. Now, when I choose a specific reservoir, the related marks stand out. I can see across the entire dashboard which marks are related to each specific reservoir. One way to add the ability to drill down to very specific data is to use a view as a filter. This means the marks you select in one view will filter the results of the other views in your dashboard. Let's see how that works. On the oil well output map, we'll click the Use as Filter button. Now, when we select a mark on the map, the other views are filtered to show only the data related to that mark. The other views in our dashboard show only the data from those oil wells. One way to allow users to drill down into the data they want to see is to set a filter card so that it applies to more than one view. Let's try it out on our year filter. We're going to apply this filter to multiple worksheets. Let's apply the year filter to all sheets using this data source. Now we can filter the entire dashboard through this filter.
Okay.
Our dashboard still needs a little work in order to be user-friendly. It needs a title, so let's add that. We'll click the dashboard menu and then click Show Title. We should also include directions for users of the dashboard. We can double-click the title of the map view and add directions there. On a new line, we can tell users that selecting oil wells on the map lets them filter the data. We'll make the font size a little smaller than the title. Next, let's change the titles of our filters and legends to make them more instructive. This one should tell people they can select a reservoir to highlight related marks. We'll make similar changes to the year legend.
Okay.
Now the dashboard is ready to share, with drill down interactivity and instructions for how to use it. In this lesson, you'll learn how to create a dashboard and
Okay, that's good. All right. So that's quite interesting. We're gonna apply all this in the next in the class. We'll go through these slides together and create this dashboard and look at the interface together. And there's step-by-step instructions on how to build that dashboard using the Excel sheet that we used at the very beginning, the sales worksheet. So we're going to go back again to the sales worksheet and create this kind of dashboards together. All right, this is it for now. I'm going to stop recording and I will see you in class.